Ladies and gentlemen, the left is freaking out over what they deem to be a constitutional crisis. You've got CNN reporting on hairy balls, Elon Musk changing his Twitter username to that, or I guess I don't know if it'd be username or just title name. You can see he's still at Elon Musk, but you go to his account, hairy balls. I think he did that at like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. Eastern time. I woke up to it. But yeah, so now liberals have gotten their script. Obviously, if you just look at this from an outsider perspective, this is amazing for Donald Trump and his appeal to independent people across the United States. This is exactly what people wanted. This is what Elon Musk campaigned on. The idea of looking under the hood, which is what is needed in terms of eliminating a lot of this government waste. Last week it was US aid. This week it's going to be something else. Musk is saying the stuff that they're finding is just outrageous. He's going to go public with it all. And then he's probably going to do a big presentation, have like a big transcript on everything that's wasteful that the Trump administration is trying to cut. Because remember, Elon Musk did campaign on this. Donald Trump campaigned on this. This is what voters wanted. And so if you're a liberal looking at this and trying to swing it, it's, oh, let's say it's overreach by Musk and he's not able to do it because it was Trump who was elected, not Musk. Well, yes, Musk was campaigning for Trump under the idea that Musk would come in and use his expertise. I mean, he is the richest person in the world to be able to help identify and eliminate this government waste. And he's got all these young kids working underneath him, and they're saying, oh my God, these young kids, it's terrible. They're going to expose everything. When in reality, Musk needs to, anything that he wants to do, it needs to be approved by the Trump administration. That's just his advisory role with Trump. So they're trying to really drum it up like it's this big, horrible thing. This is exactly what the American people wanted. And yes, this was going to be different. Their entire argument hinges upon, oh, this is something we've never seen before. How is this allowed? This is what was campaigned on. You needed someone like Musk to come in, or it didn't even have to be Musk, but just someone from an outsider perspective that has no vested interest, although you could say Musk does have vested interest in terms of government contracts because of Tesla, SpaceX, and whatever. But this is more so the waste of it, not necessarily talking about those companies. You need someone to come in that isn't familiar with all of the people that have been hired, because all these people hire each other and it just keeps getting more and more bloated. You need someone from the outside to come in and just pop the balloon entirely. That's what I've been saying. It gets blown up, blown up, blown up, blown up. The balloon's already about to pop. It's already so bloated in terms of the government spending on useless projects, and then he pops it. And a lot of this is money laundering. When you look at just some of the things that where the money goes, it's like $3 million for things that would cost 50,000. It's just outrageous. And now CNN and all the liberal media, they have to say, okay, if we look at this from an outsider perspective, this is terrible for us. It's exactly what the American people wanted. They wanted someone from an outsider perspective to come in and do things unorthodox and really shift everything. How do we spin that and make it seem like it's this horrible thing? Well, let's just call it a constitutional crisis, because this is not what we're used to seeing. So it's something different. We've identified that it's something different. It's good for the people, but we can manipulate the people by saying it's something that they shouldn't like because it's reckless and it's dangerous, and Elon Musk is hiring all these young kids and they're going to leak your social security number and all of that. So we have to identify what the left is trying to do. They're trying to manipulate the general public into gaslighting them and saying this is not what you really signed up for, when Elon Musk was campaigning for Trump months in advance of the election, saying that, yes, we're going to go in there and we're going to clean things up. I will say, the dynamic of Musk being extremely rich and having this much power within the government. I mean, rich people are already going to have a certain amount of power. That's just the reality of being rich. That's why you've got certain individuals that are very gullible that say, well, no, we need socialism, we need communism. Well, then you've got an even worse situation where the state owns everything, but because we're human beings, there's going to be a certain amount of hierarchy where the government actors within the state control the vast majority of power. It changes a bit when you've got capitalism, because someone like Musk can rise just as an independent force without the government. And now obviously Musk does to a degree have the government with him campaigning for Trump. But this was always what was intended to happen, guys. Don't let the gaslighting get to you. Let's see what this clip says here.
Chief Elon Musk, who apparently has adopted the alias, at least he changed his social media handle to Hairy Balls, tweeted this morning, "Democracy in America is being destroyed by judicial coup. An activist judge is not a real judge."
Right. And so he's talking about as they go through and audit these agencies, you've got these judges saying it's not allowed, it's against the Constitution, things like that. So Musk and Trump are going to have to appeal this, really Trump, to the Supreme Court for this to be, or it's going to go to, I think the Court of Appeals is what it's going to go to. And you've got all these activist judges really trying to slow down the Trump administration when it comes to things like this. You know, what I'll say about these judges is they need to be taken care of, right? You look at how powerful Musk and Trump are. These judges should just be trampled over, honestly. And you do it, go to the appeals process. We know what these people are doing. They're just trying to hamper Trump and Musk, and it's kind of this side of the establishment politics that's just, they're just all bubbled together. And if you stop this, if you do that against Musk and Trump, you'll get this. It's all a reward system. And so their rulings are not based off of what's correct and what's right and what's just for the American people. It's more so based off of the bureaucracy they're in, and the reward system, to where there's a lot of liberals that influence these judges and say, if you block this, you get Y. If you do this, it's very unfortunate. But this is going to go to all of these judges, these activist judges is what they call them. All of it's going to be appealed. And hopefully Musk and Trump are going to be able to continue their audits and really, I think what we need for the American people, because it is a war of information. When you talk about CNN and mainstream media saying one thing and how terrible it is, and Musk and Trump saying another thing, you have to show people, this is why we're cutting this. This is what it's going to do. This is the impact it's going to have. You have to be very transparent, and Musk has the ability, because he owns X, to be that transparent and to really be able to push out very effective propaganda because of the reach that he has in terms of his X account, not just for himself, but for the Trump administration. And so that's another thing that you have to take into account when it comes to, also you have to understand mainstream media has been discredited. That's why Trump's got around a 54% approval rating right now, even after all the attacks against him. Obviously, there's marching orders that say this guy has a very good approval rating. This must change immediately. And to be able to change that, there has to be some form of propaganda. And so it's this constitutional crisis, like people saying, oh my goodness, what is happening? How is this possible? It's just like the psyop of liberals saying, I can't believe how many conservatives regret voting for Trump. It doesn't exist. It's just not real. You're just making it up. And we know you're making it up because we have approval rating on Trump amongst Republicans, 96% approval rating, which, by the way, is even better than a normal Republican would be, because you're always going to have people within the party that don't like specifically Trump, because Trump's not even establishment. It's an entirely different wing of the party. It's MAGA. So you would think it'd be even higher than 4% Republicans that disagree with Trump, because of the amount of establishment people within the Republican Party, like the Romney Republican, McCain, the more rhino sense, you'd think it'd be even more than 4%. So that just goes to show you how much of a lie it is that Republicans regret voting for Trump. They have to really throw anything at the wall because the approval for Trump is so overwhelming. And this isn't even counting the hopeful end to the situation in the Middle East, although I know a lot of Republicans that don't like what's going on there in terms of what Trump is setting up. It's a very complex situation, but it does seem like he is certainly caving to Israel in that situation. Well, we'll see what happens. I'm going to reserve judgment on it. But then the Middle East as well, or not just the Middle East, the Eastern Europe situation, what a great opportunity that would be for Trump to end that. And really, I mean, that would help his approval rating. You want to talk about ending those two situations going into the 2026 midterms. There is your narrative right there for Trump. On top of that, doing all of this in terms of being able to, I mean, this is just like, imagine if Trump is able to cut so much government waste to the point where we can afford to eliminate the income tax and just rely on the tariffs, because Trump just announced a new set of tariffs, because he's trying this thing to where he wants tariffs to pay for the U.S. income tax, basically. But to do that, you're also going to have to cut significant government spending. So for Trump and for Musk, one of the other things I've seen they've done is they're trying to discredit some of these cuts and saying that these cuts are going to hurt us significantly. It's important to educate the American people on why we're cutting what we're cutting, why it matters that we're doing this, and they give examples of the money that was spent in these areas that didn't amount to anything and why it's useless, wasteful spending. All of this is very important in terms of transparency when it comes to the American people and arguing against the liberal talking points, which are going to be very vague, like you just cut this and that's for cancer research and everything like that. There has to be correct counterpoints to explain a lot of these cuts, because things needed to be cut. We just didn't have an outsider to come in and be able to do it. And obviously Trump 1.0 versus Trump 1 or 2.0 is going to be completely different just in terms of the amount of people Trump know. And I mean, look at Trump's cabinet, 2.0 versus 1.0. It's night and day. And so there was always going to be a more aggressive approach for Trump this administration. Obviously, the Musk factor is a little bit different. I don't think anyone really thought, I mean, Musk wasn't even supporting Trump until the assassination attempt. But Musk is at a place to where he is extremely wealthy, and I don't think he, means to destroy the United States. The only thing you can say is, yes, he does have a vested interest in Tesla, in SpaceX, in something like Neuralink, in AI systems. I understand that. But when it comes to just eliminating a lot of this useless government spending, everybody admitted. I mean, you can look back in 2007, 2018. You've got Elizabeth Warren, you've got Mark Cuban. I'm sure really any Democrat. Yes, I mean, we're at a place to where we've bloated ourselves so much, and there needs to be something done about the government spending. But the problem is the people that are put into positions of power, because Trump is such a crazy outsider, it's career politicians. So it's just like if Kamala Harris, like none of this would have been happening. Like the people that would have been picked, she would be in her cabinet, it would be all other career politicians. There would be none of this abstract stuff. And because this is abstract, liberals see that as a potential weakness and a way to turn the American people against the abstract nature of the Trump administration by saying, look, they're doing this differently. It's against the Constitution. It's horrible. You should be against it. Elon Musk is going to leak your social security number, and they're going to cut all the things that you love. And so that's why it's important to be able to push back against this and to identify what they're trying to do by calling it this constitutional crisis, because they get these emails, it sends out. Starting this morning, you could see it on Google metrics. The words constitutional crisis, they become number one. They all start pushing the exact same thing. And that's basically them saying, okay, we look at the approval rating, the new numbers that came out on Sunday, Trump's at an all-time high. We must go back to the drawing board and come up with something different, find a new slant against Trump and Musk, because really now Trump has been able to use Musk as almost a bodyguard in a sense, to where Musk is taking a lot of the heat, and obviously both Trump and Musk are going to get significant heat from Democrats. That's just, it is what it is. But Trump is not getting 100% of the yelling by the Democrats. It's some of that's going to Musk, and you can see CNN doing segments on Musk now and their hatred for him. So that's basically what's going on, and this is just what politics is. They're really trying to turn this into some type of constitutional crisis. Well, this is what we elected Trump to do. Trump has Musk working under him. People are totally fine with it. Independents endorse this. You talk to any of them, they're fully on board. Top experts say this is what has to be done. You have to bring an outsider in to eliminate all of this useless spending, this total waste. I mean, you look under the hood and you immediately see, I mean, you've got 0.7% of the federal budget, which is U.S. aid, and there is just left and right. And how about the segment that was going to the political campaigns are like funding George Soros? This is horrible, horrible stuff. It's 97% going to liberal campaign funds or liberal causes. It's 3% for Republicans. Do you really think Trump and Musk seeing that are going to allow that to stand? And the idea that them removing that type of spending is some type of constitutional crisis is absurd. So you can understand the manipulation. And once you peel their argument back, it's very easy to realize just how stupid it is, but they're very desperate. Remember, they saw the approval rating at an all-time high on Sunday and said, we need a new blitzkrieg tactic to go full-blown. That's why the constitutional crisis thing has popped up here on Tuesday. So see how they're trying to spin it. And this is what happens. But Trump and Musk, I believe, when it comes to these judges, they need, if you're Trump, you tell Musk, just take care of these judges. You're extremely wealthy. intimidation. There's things that you can do to take care of these people, in the sense of, doing it above board and doing it legally. But these people are not being legal about it. They're not being real. These judges get paid by Democrats to restrict Trump's potential movement when it comes to eliminating all of this useless spending. So they're trying to muddy it, and they want to do that over all of Trump's term. That's what the CNN people are arguing. They're like, well, these are judges and they're respected, when in reality, these are top Democrat activist judges who it's a reward system, and they get bonuses for blocking this and holding up this Trump administration agenda. So they're the ones that are really, really bad, and what they're doing is ultimately illegal. So this is really what's going on. This is what's happening. And what I'm saying is, we know that Trump and Musk are trying to do good things, but when you decide to dismantle institutions that have been around for a while, you are going to get the arguments against it. You're going to get significant blowback, and you're going to get this woven argument that, well, what they're doing is different, so that means it's reckless and it's against the Constitution. And that's just the reality of it. We wanted them to do something different. This is what we wanted. This is why Trump's approval rating is what it is. And this is, again, before the situations to where the wars might be ended, which I think is really going to skyrocket his approval rating. Top people say it's about 55, 60, 65% approval once those situations get resolved. And it does matter in the way they get resolved. There will be, and you have to just watch out for this. The Israel-Palestine thing is such a mess. I'm not even sure, no matter what happens with that. It's like, but honestly, it's probably going to hurt Trump a little bit, because the Jewish population in the United States is 2%. If Trump just completely caves into Israel, I don't know. There are a lot of Republicans that also love Israel. I don't know if that's going to have a huge impact, but I think the Ukraine-Russia peace deal will be amazing for Trump, even though it will get spun as Trump, no matter what the peace deal is. I'm just telling you what they're going to do. It will get spun as appeasement to Russia. But that's really not going to matter when it comes to independent point of view. People are just going to like that it's over. And I mean, I'll have to see what the peace deal is, whether or not it's appeasement to Russia. I highly doubt it. I mean, you have to, if you're going to do a peace deal, both sides have to give up something. And in a lot of cases, both sides have to give up a lot that they don't want to give up. So, again, this is what's going to help Trump's approval rating get to the next level. But this type of stuff, they're the ones that are losing it. They're saying it's a crisis. Remember, these people are marching around. They're against Doge. They're against this government efficiency. These are all people that we are trying to make understand that the things that they're funding is just not, it's not what the American people want. We don't want our taxpayer dollars spent. I mean, these people are out there marching. Think about this for a second. Think about the context of these Democrat congressmen marching. If Kamala Harris would have won, all of these people that are marching against, I don't even know what they're marching against, wasteful, like the ability to spend recklessly. Like we're trying to take away a government waste. Now, I guess you could argue some of what Musk and Trump are trying to take away is important for the government, but that doesn't require you to march. What they're doing is, these same people that are right now marching because Musk is taking away money for sex change surgery in Zimbabwe, they would still be funding that if Kamala Harris was in office. They'd be perfect, and there'd be no marching. Your taxpayer money going to the transgender surgery, going to Sesame Street in Iraq, Big Bird, they set it up. It costs like, they're saying like Big Bird's costume costs like $2 million to set up in Iraq, and it's just crap. So this is just the craziness of it all. But guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.